Hi, my name is CeretaGibbons and I am the owner for Comprehensive Grants Management. Welcome to Grant Writing School. Today I want to talk to you about the 2018 Family Self Sufficiency Grant for new applicants and who are the eligible applicants for this grant program. This program is so exciting. A lot of public housing authorities are excited about it because they are new FSS applicants. They're not renewals, and they want to know a little bit more about the program because they have been wanting to get an FSS grant for a very long time. But because HUD had only had the program available for renewal applicants, new applicants were not eligible for a very long time, many years. But because in 2018, HUD recaptured funding from some renewal applicants, now currently funding is available and they're making it possible for new applicants to apply and get awarded an FSS grant. And so the big question is, am I eligible for this? And so this video is to clarify who is actually eligible for this FSS coordinator grant that is currently out for new applicants. So if you are a public housing authority and you have never been funded under any of the following 3 years, you have never been funded an FSS grant under these 3 years, you could be eligible. So if you're a public housing authority, you've never been funded in 2018, never been funded in 2017, never been funded in 2016, you're probably eligible. You have to meet some other criterions, requirements that I will go over with you later on. So if you've never been given the FSS grant in 2018, 2017, or 2016, then that's good. But what if you were given the grant in 2016, but you were not given the grant in 2017 or 2018? Are you still eligible? Well, they do say any of those years, because by definition, a renewal applicant was funded in the last previous 3 years. That has always been the rule for renewal applicants. So now they're saying if you haven't been funded in any of those 3 years, you can pick anyone you want in any of those 3 years, then you are a new applicant and you qualify to apply for an FSS coordinator grant. The next thing that they ask is you must have one of these programs. So in addition to being 1, a public housing authority, 2, never been funded in the last 3 years, next you must have one of these programs. You must operate a housing choice voucher program. Yes, you must operate a housing choice voucher program, or you must operate a public housing program. So either a housing choice voucher program or a public housing program or a RAD affected project-based voucher program. You have to have at least one of these programs and you have residents in one of these housing programs. Now, the RAD affected project-based voucher program is a little tricky because RAD developments are not really getting a lot of these service coordinator type grants. And so why is it that they have allowed the RAD affected public housing authorities to qualify for the FSS under this? Well, there is a little clarification that needs to take place there. So if you had residents in your public housing development, you convert and okay, so if you had residents in your public housing development and you had an FSS program with those public housing residents, so they were public housing residents who were in your FSS program. Then you converted to RAD. Now that is the RAD affected development that qualifies for the FSS. So it's a particular RAD development. It was previously public housing. You had the FSS program for that public housing development, but you converted that public housing development to RAD. So those residents, they are still eligible for the FSS program, even though you have converted the development to RAD. So that is the only difference. But if you were public housing and you never had the FSS and then you converted to RAD, that's not the development that they're talking about, okay? So those are the eligible applicants. You must be public housing. You must have never received the FSS grant funding either in 2018, 2017, or 2016. You must have one of these housing types, housing choice voucher, public housing, or RAD affected project-based voucher that did have an FSS program under the public housing and then converted to RAD. So you must be one of those housing types. If you have met all of those criterions, then yes, you are eligible. And if you are eligible, you should definitely apply. Why? Residents need an FSS coordinator. They need someone to come in, link them to the supportive services that they need, and help them to achieve financial and social self-sufficiency. They need an FSS program coordinator to assist them. If you meet all of these criterions, you should definitely apply for the FSS grant. It is a grant that is well worth it.